NYC is supported by Hell's Kitchen, the Broadway musical created and inspired by Alicia Keys. It tells the tale of Allie, a 17-year-old girl searching for freedom, passion, and her place in the world. Hell's Kitchen, now playing on Broadway.
New Jersey's governor's office is up for grabs this November with a crowded field of candidates looking to replace Phil Murphy. NJ Spotlight News and WNYC are partnering to bring you in-depth conversations from both parties. Join us live as State Senator John Bramnick, former Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli, and former TV and radio personality Bill Spadia face off to become the GOP's candidate. Tonight at 7 o'clock on WNYC.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm James Menendez. Today on NewsHour, Pakistan's weighing its response to a series of Indian missile strikes launched in retaliation for a deadly militant attack in Kashmir last month. We'll hear from both sides. Also, in his first interview since leaving office, President Biden tells us Donald Trump is appeasing Vladimir Putin by putting pressure on Ukraine and endangering the NATO alliance. That's BBC NewsHour at 9 on WNYC.
62 with sunshine out there right now. Slight chances of afternoon showers. Mostly sunny on this Wednesday. A high of 74 with a light wind. And then tomorrow, a chance of late morning, afternoon showers. And we may see some thunderstorms into the evening. Partly sunny and 74. 62 with sunshine now. It's 8:52.
When your bank gets the fire insurance money.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. The Name Your Price tool provides a range of coverage options. Progressive.com. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. First, Weight Watchers wants to slim down its debt, entering Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection to avoid paying $1.2 billion it owes and to get cash to build up its telehealth business to make money writing prescriptions for weight loss drugs.
To understand what Weight Watchers is going through, look to no other than Oprah Winfrey. She joined the company's board a decade ago and became its spokesperson.
Let's let 2016 be the year of our best bodies.
That lasted until, last year when Oprah announced she's now taking a prescription weight loss drug. Lots of people are doing the same. In the first 3 months of this year, Weight Watchers sales for things like nutrition guidance and group workshops fell 10%. The company does offer prescription medications through a telehealth plan, and revenues from that part of its business grew 57% last quarter. Weight Watchers wants to invest to expand its telehealth business. It says restructuring its finances through bankruptcy will eliminate burdensome debt, some dating back decades, and save as much as $50 million a year in interest payments alone. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
In 5 hours or so, we'll hear about interest rates, jobs, inflation, and the economy, as seen by the Federal Reserve, which is not expected to adjust interest rates today. Saying its tariffs, Ford announced today it has raised prices by as much as $2,000 on 3 models made in Mexico: the Maverick pickup, the Bronco Sport, and the Mustang electric SUV. S&P futures are up 0.4% now. NASDAQ futures up 0.3%. Amid tougher U.S. border policies, new data point to fewer international students coming to the U.S. for higher education. There's a 13% dip in enrollments in postgraduate programs for next academic year, according to, for instance, the Association of International Educators. Marketplace's Elizabeth Troval has more.
Visa issues and other government policies are the top reason NAFSA CEO Fanta Ah says they're seeing a decline in international enrollment.
The uncertainty that international students currently in the U.S. have experienced have had a ripple effect on prospective students and how they're looking to the U.S.
International students tend to be post-grad, often in STEM fields. Arizona State University's Trevor Thornton teaches several students entering careers in semiconductors.
They're getting interviews at these companies, getting jobs at these companies, but there's a lot of fear. The ones who are a year behind them are wondering what they're going to be doing a year from now.
And Wendy Wolfert with Cornell, where students have dealt with visa revocations, says interest in the school remains strong for now. But
if there were more severe actions and more chaos in the immigration landscape, I think that could have a real effect.
She says these students bring dollars, innovation, and talent to the U.S. I'm Elizabeth Troval for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Gamma. Gamma uses AI to generate presentations, websites, social media, and documents from a single prompt. No design or coding skills required. More at gamma.app. You have ideas, Gamma brings them to life.
The two big Los Angeles area wildfires in January destroyed more than 11,000 homes. For those with insurance and a mortgage on the property came what was probably a new piece of personal finance information. If the insurance company does write a check after a fire, the mortgage lender gets to hold the money until the property owner can show they've reached various stages of rebuilding. And here's the other surprise. The insurance payout money, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, pays little, if any, interest if it sits for months or years on hold. A member of the California Assembly, whose district includes one of the centers of the fire, Altadena, is pushing a bill to get more interest to homeowners. I spoke to Assemblyman John Harabedian, a Democrat. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So we should explain. I mean, who knew? If you're lucky enough to have fire insurance and you're lucky enough to have gotten the insurance company to send some of the money, what happens if the homeowner has a mortgage, owes money to the lender on the property? That check comes to you, but it also comes to somebody else.
That's exactly right, David. If you have a mortgage on your property and you experienced a complete loss, the post-loss insurance payment actually goes to the mortgage lender, and the mortgage lender will hold on to it sometimes for a very long extended period of time. What my bill, AB 493, does is actually make sure that any interest that is earned off of that post-loss insurance payment actually goes to the holder of the policy and isn't kept by the banks.
Yeah, if it's a low interest rate, it might not be that much money, but if I can get a CD, a certificate of deposit for 4%, if I shop around, 4% on $500,000 that maybe the mortgage company is holding for you is $20,000 after just a year, and you might just be starting your rebuild in a year.
That's right. And as anyone in this position knows full well, there are a lot of needs financially, and most people are underwater. They don't have the bank account to pay for everything. They were underinsured. And so anything that we can do to protect the financial rights of these homeowners and of these victims is really critical.
Some people may be saying, how could it be? I don't get interest. But if you look deep in the wording of when you sign the mortgage, there's typically a clause that says this. Your bill would change this. Are you getting traction on that thing?
We're getting a lot of support. I think a lot of people are surprised and confused as to why historically this interest wouldn't go to the homeowner who lost their home. And the governor's office has been extremely supportive. And I'm very confident once it gets to his desk, he will sign it and we will change this.
I was talking to an Altadena homeowner who was on fire about this issue of not getting interest, and he pointed me to a law that changed in the state of Colorado. In fact, it was just signed into law last May that would do what you're trying to do here in California. So there is precedent.
There is precedent, and California usually is a leader on smart policy. Unfortunately, in this instance, we're behind. Really, this is about protecting those in one of the most vulnerable positions that they'll ever be in their lives. And it's really trying to lift them up and make sure that they have as much relief and as much help from all different directions as possible.
John Harabedian, a California Assemblyman, a Democrat who represents the district devastated by the Eaton fire. Assemblyman, thank you very much.
David, thank you.
Again, all of that if you're lucky enough to have insurance from a company that pays. My house in Altadena burned up in that fire. We're fine, but I've been sharing what I'm learning on, for instance, Instagram. Go to Marketplace APM to see our updated video. In Los Angeles, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.